Speeding Bulletin. My name is Steve Younis from supermanhomepage.com. This is all the Superman related news that happened during the week May 28th to June 3rd, 2010. In movie news, the latest issue of Empire magazine contains an interview with Christopher Nolan in which he discusses his new movie Inception, the third Batman movie, and Superman. He said, "What you have to remember about Batman and Superman is that what makes them the best superhero characters there are, the most beloved of after all this time, is the essence of who they were when they were created, when they were first developed. You can't move too far away from that." In TV news, the Vancouver Sun reported on the positive impact Smallville has had on the film industry on Canada's west coast. Paul Klassen, business representative for the International Alliance of Theatrical and Stage Employees, said, "Smallville will be remembered as one of the most successful series shot in British Columbia. It is a fantastic production and a highlight of our industry." The Hollywood Reporter has an update on the other Superman lawsuit, the one where Smallville co-creators Miles Miller and Al Gough, along with co-producers Tolan Robbins Productions, are suing Warner Bros. For breach of contract and breach of fiduciary duty. Warner Bros. Is trying to kill the breach of fiduciary duty claim by arguing that it doesn't actually owe any fiduciary duties because a profit-sharing relationship doesn't amount to a partnership or joint venture. Sam Jones III, best known to Superman fans as Pete Ross on Smallville, participated in an interview with TVStar.com and talked about his time on the TV series. He said, "I'm still recognised every day for playing Pete Ross. That character meant a lot to me because in the comic books, Pete Ross was Caucasian and the producers of the show dared to cast colourblind and who they felt was the best actor for the role." Our Smallville reviewing team of Douglas Trumbull and Julian Finn have each written a Season 10 wishlist article. The boys look ahead to Season 10 of the series, listing the things they hope to see for the show's final season. Come by the site now to see what they hope for from Season 10 and add your own list to the comments section. Superman homepage reviewer James Lance continues reviewing episodes of the 1950s Adventures of Superman TV series. Check out his review of Perry White's Scoop, in which Perry decides he'll investigate the mystery of a corpse found in a diving suit. DC's The Source unveiled another Superman cover by artist John Cassaday. The image shown is Cassaday's alternate cover for Superman 702, the second chapter in J. Michael Straczynski's Grounded story. ComicBookResources.com caught up with Kerry Bates to ask him about the three-issue Elseworlds miniseries titled The Last Family of Krypton. In regards to whether this story will answer the question of who is the real person, Superman or Clark Kent, he said, "This project complicates the question even further by adding a third persona to the mix, so it becomes a Kal-El Clark Kent Superman dynamic. If I've done my job correctly, readers should come away from Last Family of Krypton with different but equally valid conclusions about who the real person is." Writer James Robinson spoke with ComicBookResources.com about his upcoming JLA-JSA crossover story, which kicks off within the pages of this month's Justice League of America number 46. In regards to Supergirl joining the JLA, he said, "The idea is to set up my own world's finest team between her and Dick Grayson, where they're very much brother and sister, this super sibling relationship almost." Superman comic books we reviewed this week included Superman War of the Supermen number 4, which our team of 4 reviewers didn't think too highly of. Ralph, Adam and Barry all gave it a 3 out of 5, while Neil only gave it a 1 out of 5. Super Friends number 27 was reviewed by Adam DeChannel, who said, "A nice story with some classic story elements," and he gave it a 4 out of 5. Superman comics shipping this week from June 3rd, a day late due to Memorial Day, include Adventure Comics number 12, which is available in an alternate cover, Superman Batman Annual number 4, Final Crisis trade paperback, Justice League Cry for Justice hardcover, and Superman New Krypton Volume 4 hardcover. In other news, construction is underway on the brick base which will serve as the foundation for a bronze statue of Noel Neill as Lois Lane in Metropolis, Illinois. The unveiling ceremony will take place at 10 AM on Friday, June 11th at the corner of 8th and Market Streets during the 2010 Superman celebration. Speaking of the Superman celebration, the first ever Fabulous 50s dance will be held on Friday night, June 11th at the Baymont Theatre. Doors will open at 7:30 PM. The Fabulous 50s dance will kick off at 8 PM and will cut out at 10:30 PM. The night out on the town will cost you just $25 and will offer upscale appetizers and live music by the Jerry Ford Orchestra. IGN.com revealed this week that DC Universe Online, the MMO video game from Sony Online Entertainment, will be released in November 2010. GameTrailers.com caught up with creative director Jens Anderson to shed some light on the progress of the DC Universe Online's control scheme and features. While Sony Online Entertainment also released another episode in their Inside the Studio video report, answering fan questions about the game. You can watch it at the official website or on Facebook. Mezco Toys announced that it has signed a deal with the Warner Bros. Consumer Products on behalf of DC Comics to create Mezits, Mezco's signature designer vinyl brand. The first characters to be revealed to the public will be Batman and the Joker at the San Diego Comic-Con. Alan Kistler at Newsarama.com has delved into 70 years of Superman stories to write an expose on the history of fashion on the planet Krypton. It's a very interesting article with many images illustrating how Kryptonian fashion has been portrayed in various mediums across Superman's 70-year history. A Guinness World Record was smashed in Melbourne, Australia this week. 1,245 loyal followers of DC Comics braved the cold to create history, breaking the DC Superhero World Record attempt for the most number of people in superhero costumes in one location. Congratulations to everyone who braved the weather. The Superman homepage Super Trivia Quiz has been updated for another month. This time around, the 3 questions we're asking you are: fill in the blank in this sentence. The cover of Superman #1 from 1939 states, "The complete story of the exploits of the one and only Superman." Which 2 world leaders did Superman kidnap in the famous 1940 Look magazine story, How Superman Would End the War? And Jerry Siegel combined the names of which 2 Hollywood actors to come up with the name Clark Kent? If you know the answers to these 3 questions, come by the website now and submit your entry. Members and fans of the Superman homepage heading to Metropolis, Illinois for the 2010 Superman celebration are invited to get together for a meet and greet. The Superman homepage meet and greet will be held on Friday, June 11th at 4:30 p.m. on the courthouse lawn, located directly next to the Superman statue. That's all the Superman news there was for the week May 28th to June 3rd. I'm Steve Younis from SupermanHomepage.com.
Hi, welcome to Bailey Planet. This week I'm going to talk about a very sensitive subject: monkey-man encounters, and that's about as close as I can get it and keep it family friendly. In Superman 699, which you'll probably see flashing across your screen shortly, it was implied that Mon-El was engaged by the female, or maybe it was a male ape, in some kind of contact that would not be appropriate for children. I don't know, I always hesitate to condemn a comic for being morally repugnant because, you know, it's really not so horrible a thing to imagine the idea of Superman having sex. It's just something that doesn't necessarily need to be covered without a really good subject, story explanation. And yet you get Mon-El, who's a character who is kind of out there. He can be pretty much anything he wants. His character is not as defined as Superman. So it's not as important that he has strict moral standards, you know, because the whole sex out of wedlock thing is a hot button for many, many people, but since Mon-El is not Superman, he can get away with a lot of those things. But at the same time, I'm sitting there thinking, it's like, is that a line that you really had to cross? I mean, I'm a guy who searches out the darkest corners of the internet for the most awful things. And yet I was sitting there kind of taken aback. It's like, I'm a 30-year-old man and I'm kind of disgusted by this idea. You know, you got an ape doing things with a Daxamite just for the sake of, what, humor? And you just kind of drop it in there. And also, you know, like, Billy is left pregnant when Mon-El leaves the story. It's like, way to go there. You know, you kind of, you leave in the story in such a way that Mon-El as a character is kind of left as kind of the Superman Returns bum. You know, like the alternate Superman, where it's like, hey, yes, you know, I'm just going to have a child out of wedlock, and, you know, boom, you know. And I don't know. It's a hazy issue, but it just begs the question of whether it was necessary or not. Not like in a, how dare you do this morally repugnant thing, but did it really have to happen? Did it enhance the story? I don't think so.